Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Auto Tech Show. Of course, our podcast that talks everything automotive technology and innovation. My name is Mark Babin, your host, and it's great to have you with me. So many people tuning into this episode, and it's a really good one. As you know from the title, today on this pod, we're looking at how you can effectively bring innovation into your company culture at the deepest levels to help foster creative thinking and empower your team to make great innovative steps forward. Now, to do this, I'm very honored to bring in all the way from Montreal, Canada, Dave Casey. Dave's an expert on all things innovation and is the founder at Innovation Leaders Club, an elite club composed exclusively of senior executives in innovation leadership positions, of course, with their primary purpose be to share best practices and experience among these innovation leaders to propel it forward. Dave, I love the association, the organization's goal. It's fantastic work that they're doing. And it's great to have you on this episode to really bring this topic to the forefront. It's one that we keep hearing come up. So I'm really excited to have you on, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for having me today, and I'll try my best. I'm wearing two hats, so I'm the founder of the Innovation Leaders Club, so I'll try to do my best to represent the 2,500 club members that we have, and I do spend, I would say, almost every day having at least discussion, also attending sessions. So I've heard a lot of things about those innovators, but I'm also hands-on supporting these organizations to increase the innovation capacity. So I'll be juggling between the two, what I see and what I first and experience on site. And I'm sure there's a lot of things interesting we're going to come up.
We have developed a 60-page visual guidebook on how to develop an innovation strategy. It is a fully illustrated step-by-step guide to building the foundation of an innovation system. Click the link in the description below to download it for free.
Is it that culture of, like, maybe doing a big culture shift is obviously a big move, and that's not something that happens overnight. Those first fundamental steps, you mentioned that not having a fear to try things and giving that opportunity to try things. Is that one of those fundamental steps, or what do you think those ones that people
I wouldn't say that's the fundamental one. This is a step. This is where you want to add up, but you got to make sure that you settle something. Okay. It's building innovative organization. It's like building or like a building itself. So you have to start with the foundation. You got to make sure that we get something strong. We know exactly where we want to go, and that's what we call in our club's members. We call innovation strategy. Where do you want to go? So too many organizations are asking people for ideas, but they don't set where to go. So they get all kind of ideas, and ultimately we have to say no to like 98% of them because it's not where I want to go. So if you ask people, okay, trial things, get ideas, and you don't tell where to go, ultimately it becomes a disappointment process because people do generate things where not necessarily where the organization wants to go. So that first thing first, it is to ensure we have a clear innovation strategy. So what are the objectives we're trying to achieve? So I was talking about like that growth coming from innovation, like 50%. That's a reasonable target for innovative organization. But what have we achieved in the past, and what should we set in the future? And ultimately, where we want to focus innovation, because what is key for an organization to be successful is to focus. Take an example for Apple. Everyone knows Apple, and one thing that is obvious when you get into an Apple store is they're really focused. They make phone, they make tablets, portable computers, desk computers. They have recently introduced the watch, and also they make an acquisition for earphones. But you see, they're really focused in what they're doing, and that's where they're doing good. So innovation is so challenging that if you do not focus, you're going to lose track, and you're going to disperse, and you will end up providing very low value. So knowing what the objective you want to achieve, then where you want to focus and build a program. So for every focus you want to get, okay, Tesla wanted to get into the mid-market. So they build a program called the Model 3, and a program means multiple projects going towards the same direction. So multiple things needed to be developed in order to get that model. And then you can start implementing things to get the infrastructure to make things happen. Invest into those infrastructure. If you're small, those small infrastructure, maybe within your current building. If you, in some cases you have to build something new. Mm-hmm. Also, you have to hire resources, but ensure those resources that you hire, you will maintain them. But because if you do, it's like a bucket. If you put water in and there's a hole in the bottom, so there's an issue. So you got to make sure you hire people. An innovator may take a year or two to become effective in your organization. So you got to make sure you keep them. That's really key. And also, since in the automotive industry it's so costly to innovate, you got to make sure you innovate with the external ecosystem. You share risk with others, and also you use others' expertise that you will bring into. And finally, not the least, it's be patient. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they embark into innovation, but they want a result like right away. So you got to be patient. Innovation requires time, will always take longer than what you expect. And that's, I would say, the few steps you could take.
How does a company accept those expectations? Like, do they have to, you know what I mean? Like, it's that difficult thing for a company that wants to advance quickly and wants to innovate quickly. And maybe they're used to having results fairly quickly. But as you mentioned, innovation takes time and it takes patience. But how do top level executives and perhaps people within your club, how do they set expectations on what it will actually take?
Yeah, so that's a real issue, patience. This is why most of established organizations innovate through acquisition. Okay. So what they do is they acquire someone who has been working on something for 10, 15 years because they want it right away. This is one way of innovating. But from studies that have been done by McKinsey and some others, international consulting firms, and really interesting studies, it shows that it's much more costly to innovate externally. So their impatience, because they're willing to pay more. Mm-hmm. Where I was talking, it is organic innovation. It means that we're going to innovate ourselves. And the thing is, innovate through acquisition, it is riskier. First, because maybe you will not find. If you do find, maybe you will not come up to an agreement on the price. If you agree on the price, maybe you will have issue with financing. Let's say financing pass, some government might stop some transaction. So then, if transaction works, they have not been integrated into the organization yet. Some people may leave the organization. It happens often when there's a question. So you see, all those risks means that innovating organically, yes, there are some risks, but when you make it happen and when the balls is rolling, then you can make it repeatable. So that's what is really key into the what we need to really achieve, and this is what we call a culture change. Because if you make acquisition to innovate, you're not going to get that culture change.
How do they communicate that effectively throughout all levels of the organization? Because I think a lot of people within these companies, there's going to be resistance internally. You know, people want to stay the status quo. Maybe they have reasons for it, but how do they communicate that effectively, that vision and that innovation strategy through all levels so they can really build that strong foundation that you mentioned?
Yeah, like you mentioned, you talk about vision. So then first we got to build that vision. We have to build that compelling vision that people they want to work behind, and it's a really, really good tool to hire people, but also it's even more effective tool to keep people.
Absolutely.
Okay? Today the challenge is not to hire, it's to keep.
Yeah.
Okay. So building that compelling vision and share it internally, but share it externally, because we want to link with others that have a similar vision or they want to embrace into that vision. So most of the time it's top down, but we involve people. So we involve people, but at one point we got to make a decision because we could ended up with having 25 visions, and we could have different vision as well. So I'll come back to the Tesla Model 3. So we could have a vision for the mid-market. Okay? Well, we could have a different vision for the high end. We could have in the automotive industry, I could have a vision for a specific segment, okay, which let's say general public. But if I want to develop some specialized trucks or vehicle, or I might have a different vision. Okay, so there's no necessarily one vision. So I was talking about the area of focus earlier. So for, let's say I have 3 areas of focus. So I have the mid-market. I want to get some high-end in the consumer, and I want to get specialized transportation or automotive. Maybe I would have different vision for those. Okay, because ultimately the vision for mid-market consumer would be different from specialized automotive industry. So I got to make sure that anyway, people that are working in a specialized vehicle industry may not be the one working in the mid-market. Maybe different people, different teams.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay.
So yeah, and we got to push it down. Yeah. And also we have to keep communicating. I keep telling innovation leaders, keep communicating your vision. And when people say, yeah, but you know what? Your vision, you keep telling us all the time. You know what? Keep doing it. It means it starts to be implemented. So you have to post it in the wall. You have to have it. I keep telling innovation leaders, start with repeating your vision. So at one point, people will be tired of hearing that vision. Just go faster, but keep pushing it. Okay. And ultimately, if there are people that are not willing to move into that vision, then in some cases ended up you have to fire some people. Yeah. So most of the time when I see those shift, there are people resisting. At one point, you have to let go people.
Yeah, I think that's a mature move to make as well, because if as the company evolves, perhaps a certain team fit with where the company was at that one point, and as they evolve, if that fit isn't there anymore, you have to advance the company, and you can't be held back by that exactly in that.
If you haven't already done so, you can get your hands on our popular 60-page visual guidebook for free. Click the link in the description below. Don't hesitate to watch the next video to learn even more about innovation management practices.